Meeting of City Council order. Today is Monday, February 5th, and we'll start with the invocation by the First Christian Church.
Please pray with me. Good and gracious God, on this evening we gather to focus our hearts and minds around this community of Oskaloosa. Thank you for the men and women who have given their time and talents here to discuss and lead and listen and serve. Bless the two new officers and their families as they begin their new call to the community of Oskaloosa. May any frustrations turn to creative solutions. May new beginnings and endings be met with mercy and grace. May hurt feelings and difficult communication turn into curiosity and learning. May laughter and giggles come from joy and thanksgiving. May our eyes see you and our ears hear you in everyone that speaks this night. May the progress be wide-reaching, encompassing all your children here in this community and beyond. And may the peace of Christ be with us all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Almond.
Here.
Caligari.
Here.
Comfort.
Here.
Drost.
Here.
Hermson.
Here.
Ocean.
All right, next up is time for community comments. This is a time for the council to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're included in today's agenda. The community is encouraged to speak before the mayor and city council and ask that statements be kept brief. Time should be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions are to be asked of the city staff, council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council so concerns can be properly addressed or maybe even answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. Is there anyone who would like to speak tonight? And Alicia, as always, name and address.
Alicia, Oskaloosa. So today, the Nebraska County Supervisor voted to send a letter to the state of Iowa opposing Highway 163 area annexation for Oskaloosa. It passed unanimously and is being wrote up by the county attorney to give to the Iowa DOT. It is time the city starts listening to the people. The opposition is here, and we won't be forced into something we do not want. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. Nick Ryan, 1851 260th Street. Just a few comments for you guys tonight. First, item B on the irregular agenda. We're only a couple months into a 4-year term of the Ward 4 seat. If you think we're going to fill that by appointment, you got another thing coming. You guys have the opportunity to vote on that tonight. Vote no, hold a special election, give the people an opportunity to elect the person who's going to fill that seat for that long of a term. This really shouldn't even need to be discussed. We're so shortly into that term that the obvious answer to that should be to hold a special election. Second, just looking at the agenda, I don't know why the city would voluntarily shell out $280,000, even if it is to EMA. It seems to me the only payments that the city should be making are the ones it is legally and contractually obligated to make. Seems a little suspicious to me, but what do I know? Third, the executive committee of the SCRAA was found by the Public Information Board to be in violation of public information laws on multiple occasions. The council needs to remove Jim Hansen from the SCRAA board and need to withdraw from the 2080 agreement. Not to mention the land deals that were the subject of those secret meetings are extremely suspicious. Finally, if you think this town is going to put up with speed cameras, you got another thing coming. Wherever you are on that issue, you can abandon that right now. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nick. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have 2 new police officers to swear in tonight. The first one is Cale Holmberg. A little background on Cale. Officer Holmberg is a native of Oskaloosa and a graduate of Oskaloosa High School. He was actively involved in sports from a young age, starting with wrestling and then transitioning to football, basketball, and tennis. Holmberg's senior year of varsity football was particularly successful as he was named the most valuable player and received numerous other awards. After high school, Holmberg pursued a criminal justice degree at Indian Hills Community College. He graduated in the spring of 2023 and began his search for employment in law enforcement. His ultimate goal has been to serve his hometown community. When he's not working, Holmberg enjoys spending time with his loved ones, playing sports, fishing, and watching racing. He's thrilled to begin his career at the Oskaloosa Police Department and to serve and protect his community. So we will now do the oath of office, Cale.
Okay. I'll ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Cale Holmberg, do solemnly swear
I, Cale Holmberg, do solemnly swear
that I will support and comply with
that I will support and comply with
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Iowa,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Iowa,
the charter laws and ordinances of the city of Oskaloosa,
the charter laws and the ordinances of the city of Oskaloosa,
the rules and regulations of the Oskaloosa Police
the
Department,
rules and regulations of the Oskaloosa Police Department,
the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of my position
discharge the duties of my position
as a police officer to the best of my ability.
as police officer to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
You can come up if you want to take pictures closer. Feel free. All right, and secondly, we have Richard Fortney. So a little background, Officer Richard Fortney was born in Iowa City and raised in Eldon. He graduated from Cardinal High School in 2008 and then attended the University of Northern Iowa as a presidential scholar. While at UNI, Fortney developed his passion for music and physical fitness, even qualifying as a walk-on for the NCAA Division I track and field team in his senior year. After receiving his bachelor's degree in criminology with honors in 2011, Fortney began his career in law enforcement with the Oskaloosa Police Department. He took a brief hiatus from the department to explore other career paths before returning to law enforcement as police chief for the city of Richland. During his tenure as police chief, he revived a department that had been dissolved for several years. Fortney also attended night classes at Indian Hills Community College to become an emergency medical technician. Looking for more opportunities, Fortney transferred to the city of Sigourney as an officer and EMT firefighter for 5 years before the department was dissolved. After that, he continued working as an EMT with Mahaska Health Partnership before joining the Williamsburg Police Department. Fortney is a combat medic with the Iowa National Guard, serving as a sergeant squad leader at Camp Dodge. His hobbies include playing music, reading, and spending time with his family. Officer Fortney is honored and excited to return where it all began, bringing over a decade of law enforcement, military training, and experience to serve the Oskaloosa community. So Richard, I'll have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Richard Fortney, do solemnly swear
I, Richard Fortney, do solemnly swear
that I will support and comply with
that I will support and comply with
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Iowa,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Iowa,
the charter, laws, and ordinances of the city of Oskaloosa,
the chartered ordinances and laws of the city of Oskaloosa,
the rules and regulations of the Oskaloosa Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Oskaloosa Police Department,
the law enforcement code of ethics,
the law enforcement code of ethics,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of my position
discharge the duties of my position
as police officer to the best of my ability.
as police officer to the best of my abilities.
It's never easy.
And everybody's watching, right? Nice.
All right, next on the agenda, consider adoption of the consent agenda. All items appearing on the consent agenda are considered routine by the city council and shall be enacted in one motion. A couple of items to bring to the council's attention. First of all, item J, it's an appointment of Kevin Utterback to the Building Code Board of Appeals. And also just want to bring attention to items K and L. Those are approval of applications for commercial and residential tax abatements. I believe there's 14 total properties included on that. I think that says something about the development happening in our city. And then also, the motion would include a correction to the minutes from our budget session on January 22nd related to the approval of funding for the animal shelter and cemetery. Steve Burnett was a nay rather than a yes. And so do I have a motion of support?
So moved. Second?
Roll call. Or any discussion? No? Roll call, Amy.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Okay, next up is the announcement of vacancies. To qualify, you must be an Oskaloosa resident of 18 years of age. There's 4 boards with openings. I encourage anybody who wants to get involved in the goings on at the city to apply for these commissions if you're eligible. That's a good way, good learning opportunity to have a better understanding of the things going on in the city. First of all, it's the Airport Commission, 1 vacancy for a term ending December of 2027, and 1 vacancy for a term ending December 2028. The Building Code Board of Appeals, there's 2 vacancies for regular members and 1 for an ex officio member. The Board of Adjustments, there's 2 vacancies for terms ending December of 2024. And the Solid Waste Commission has a vacancy for a term ending December of 2024. And with that, we'll go to the regular agenda. And the first item is to consider resolution of appreciation for our 4th Ward City Council member, Steve Burnett. Do I have a motion of support for that?
So moved.
Second. So in the discussion before we go, we'll have Steve come up here in a little bit. Just a couple of comments about Steve. I had the privilege of serving with him for 5.5 years. You know, I really came to appreciate serving with Steve. He always knew what was on his mind, and he wasn't afraid to tell us that. And I think that was something, there's something to be said about that, it was obvious that your passion for this community wasn't just about you It wasn't about any set agenda. You were just looking out for the best interests of Oskaloosa and the long-term sustainability. So I really appreciate the perspective you've given and all the things that I've learned from you personally. So with that, I don't know if anybody else on council cares to share.
I'm going to miss sitting next to him. I think he always came so prepared. I never learned more about feral cats in my life until he had a 45-minute conversation. No, I swear he did more research than anybody. And I've tried to be a better person and come. I feel like I was prepared, but he was always so prepared, and you could always count him if you needed a question. He could tell you. So you will be truly missed. Truly.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would say, Steve, you're the reason I'm up here. You gave me the confidence, even though I was trying to plan a wedding at the same time as deciding if I was going to run or not. And just to have somebody believe in me that I could do that, that was a lot. And coming from a young female, we don't always get the opportunity or people to believe in us and empower us. So thank you for that and that leadership, and always for, supporting us.
One thing I appreciate about Steve was if we weren't on the same page about something, there's enough civility between us that we could sit down and talk it out. So when Steve first ran for council in 2015, I was opposed to Steve's election, and Steve and I had a cup of coffee and Smoky Row one day and talked out a couple things, and I really enjoyed serving with Steve on the council. I know there's a couple times Steve and I hopped on the phone to talk through some things, and I just appreciate being able to have that, be able to call Steve and pick his brain. Steve's a very wise individual, so talk to him and learn from him. I will certainly miss that.
I just remember the first day when you started running for council. You were pumped. You were ready to go, and we saw that. But I appreciate everything you have done. It was great to work with you, and I hope the best for your future.
Okay. With that, Steve, if you want to come forward.
Make sure there ain't no contract behind that thing.
Don't read the fine print. So the resolution, whereas as a member of the Oskaloosa City Council from January 2016 through January 26 of 2024, Steve Burnett has served the city of Oskaloosa with honor and distinction. Through his conduct and high sense of public trust, he has earned the respect and appreciation of the citizens of the city of Oskaloosa. And whereas Steve Burnett provided leadership by offering valuable input on numerous city projects and policies, he also selflessly served on various boards, committees, commissions, including the Mahaska Solid Waste Commission, Public Projects Committee, Oskaloosa Area Chamber of Commerce and Development, and as a member of the Mahaska County Emergency Management Commission, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oskaloosa, Iowa, by the City Council of the City of Oskaloosa, Iowa, in a meeting assembled on the 5th day of February 2024, by the adoption of this resolution, permanently record sincere appreciation for the service rendered by Steve Burnett as a member of the Oskaloosa City Council and for the privileges then ours to have served with him. Thanks, Bob.
So you're right, it is about serving. It shouldn't be about us. It shouldn't be about any of us. It shouldn't be anything that I don't know how to say it. It's just plain and simple that there were times that people in the fourth ward didn't like me a whole lot. And it's not a popularity contest. It's a contest that I was going to make the decision that I felt was best for our community as a whole. And sometimes that's not everybody's favorite person. So I challenge you to be prepared, make the best decision you think is best for our community, and try and not worry about whether people are going to like you or not. That's what you need to do. So, and I am honored. From the bottom of my heart, I thank everybody that I see in here that works for the city of Oskaloosa and serves the city of Oskaloosa. I feel that you're doing everything in your power to make Oskaloosa a better place to live. So,
thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
It's been an honor to work with you all.
Thank you.
Really, very much so. So
Thanks
you.
again, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my city clerk is looking at me saying we didn't do a roll call vote on that resolution we just gave you, Steve. So a roll call vote.
It's a beautiful moment.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Caliger.
Yes.
Comfort.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
All right, next item. Get my papers right. Okay, here we go. Next item is consider a resolution providing for the notice of intent to fill the council Ward 4 vacancy by appointment. The explanation, Steve Burnett officially announced his resignation from the City Council effective January 26 of 2024. Iowa Code 372.13 specifically outlines the process of filling a council vacancy by the remaining members of the board. The council may appoint a new Ward 4 representative after proper publication of notice, or the council may defer action and await a special election. If this item is approved as presented, staff will accordingly proceed with publication of notice that's included as the agenda packet that the council intends to fill Ward 4 vacancy by appointment. Applications will be accepted to be considered for appointment through February 20 of 2024 with the intention to make the appointment at the March 4, 2024 council meeting. Do I have a motion of support? Okay, seeing none. Table, what's the next action, David?
Interesting. It obviously fails for want of a second. I was looking at the agenda item as I recall, and I'm speaking from memory without the code open in front of me, as I recall, the council can fill by appointment, or as I recall, I think the council can itself go ahead and schedule a special election without waiting for a petition to be filed by someone else seeking a special election.
Would the agenda item preclude a motion for a special election?
Well, it kind of says that, I think.
In my mind, I think that kind of inheres in where we're at. I think if you're inclined to make a motion that we schedule a special election, I think that can appropriately be done within the ambit of where we're at in the agenda item.
So I would make a motion then that the City of Oskaloosa call a special election to fill the Ward 4 council vacancy.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion on the table or on the floors for the special election, a date to be determined, according to whatever the requirements are.
I talked to the auditor's office today.
With the auditor's office.
I think the earliest it can be scheduled, if I understood them correctly, would be 32 days from the time we notified them. And then just for the public's knowledge, I also inquired about the cost of an election, and according to the auditor's office, a ballpark estimate would be $1,800 to $2,000 for a Ward 4 special election.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other discussion? I think the other thing, just Nick and his comments walk through, appointing and for a 4-year term, conversations that Amy and I had today, and a conversation with the county auditor, and if we appointed someone, it would be just for until the next regularly scheduled city election.
Right.
So it would just be for 2 years, not the 4, and that's per the county auditor's office today.
Yep. Exactly.
So just putting that out there, just for information as well.
But the election, do the special election, that'll be for the whole term.
If you do the election, it'll be for the full term. That's my understanding.
Yep.
Would that be your understanding, David?
I think that's correct.
Yep. And I just think with the special election, with it being such a long term of the vacancy, or a long portion of the term left, I just think it just makes sense to go that route. If it was a shorter term, probably a situation similar like how you got on the council, Bob, if it was something shorter, it would make sense, but we're talking a term of 3 years and 11 months, so.
Okay. So if we approve to proceed with the special election, then we would be publishing a public notice at some point, or
Yeah,
how will we announce that, David?
Yeah, number one, insofar as the mechanics of getting things started, obviously, we contact the auditor about getting it scheduled. We'll have to put together, I'm sure, a ballot item for then and publish notice of that. I'll need to double check on the specifics. We need to get published, but we'll have obviously plenty of time to get it set.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? No? I guess roll call.
Comfort,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
And that passes. Next up is to consider resolution approving limited English proficiency policies for city staff. Considering this adoption of the limited English proficiency policy is to direct staff on the proper course of action to provide services to persons who may not be fluent in English. LEP, limited English proficiency policies, are required for some federal funding sources, and the city currently does not have a policy in place. Do I have a motion of support?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
We're gonna do anything, well, you probably have to get funded. You'll be able to get some funding. Would that also include, translation on our website or not? Is that something staff is looking at?
Policy.
Just,
We have a policy and procedure to follow.
okay. All right.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
That passes. Excuse me. All right, next item is consider a resolution to authorize and approve the voluntary contribution of $283,644.94 to the Mahaska County Emergency Management Commission for services provided in fiscal year 2023. The City of Oskaloosa previously entered into a 2080 agreement between Mahaska County Emergency Management Commission and the City of Oskaloosa under date of August 17th, 2021, for the purpose of providing joint emergency response communication services facilitated by Mahaska County Emergency Management Commission and its personnel on behalf of the City of Oskaloosa. That formal agreement ended June 30 of 2022. The city now desires to make a voluntary contribution for emergency response communication services for the city in fiscal year 2023, facilitated by the Mahaska County Emergency Management Commission, in that amount previously stated $283,644.94. And it's necessary the resolution be passed authorizing and approving the payment to the Emergency Management Commission in that amount. Do I have a motion of support?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
This is this is money that was previously owed to them, correct?
It was budgeted as part of the commission, Emergency Management Commission budget, but the city did not have an agreement with the commission. So the city is volunteering to pay this contribution according to the city's share based on the previous agreement, which is communities came together in partnership and figured out a formula how to divvy the cost. Services already rendered for the community. We receive emergency management, basically. The share is based on the number of people in a community. We share that service along with other small communities and the local county. Basically, the city is volunteering to pay the same share it paid for the previous year for this budget for fiscal year 2023.
You said other commissioners, anything you want to
Yeah, I
add?
just got on it at our second meeting, and then we talked about that, just pretty much what Amal said.
Correct.
In my understanding, we have not yet paid the 2024, the fiscal year 2024 amount either,
Correct.
right? This is for fiscal year 23.
City is being a good partner in a community.
Thank you, Mo.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, discussion? No? Okay, roll call.
Hermson,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes. And that passes. Next on the agenda is first reading to consider an ordinance amending Oskaloosa Municipal Code, Chapter 13.08.570A, if that's not enough numbers for you. The sanitary sewer collection and treatment is a critical service and is funded by an enterprise utility fund. As such, revenues generated through rates must be spent on the operation of that utility. Improvements to the sanitary sewer system have to be made due to age and mandates received from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources and the Environmental Protection Agency. At the direction of the City Council, the department has embarked upon improvement plans and operational changes to meet the requirements. Part of the planning is to make sure the fund has the capacity for financing the construction of a new wastewater treatment facility project, which necessitates rate increases. The impact associated with proposed action is an increase of about $1.87 per month. Do I have a motion of support?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I understand why we have to do this. Our hands are tied. I also, though, just feel I've gone back and forth on this since the past few days. I'm a single dad, working 2 jobs. I understand this is a pretty minimal amount in the grand scheme of things, but ultimately, with the general economic conditions right now and the general small increases virtually every other good and commodity is experiencing right now, I think 3% adds up when you consider all the other things that are increasing. I just start to feel like we're slowly getting into a death by 1,000 paper cuts type of thing. So again, I understand why we have to do this. I'm not happy about it. It's nothing Amal did. It's not something the city did. Maybe 20 years ago, it's something the city did, but
Yeah.
Just kind of where I'm at.
Agree.
Any other comments? I think back when I first came on council, we were talking just coming off of, I think, double-digit increases, and I remember going through the budgeting process, we talked about 8% for the next 20 years type of a thing, and then down to 4%. I think maybe even last year we had a zero.
Yeah.
We had 0 last year.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
little brief sigh of relief, right? Give everybody a break.
Well, you can see on here, it says 2019 to 2022, it was doing 8%.
Yep.
You know, and then last year, we didn't do anything, 2023, and then now we're just at 3%. I feel the pain, but
I want to drink my water and I want to flush my toilet. You know, again, Charlie, I think we all agree, right? I mean, it's not something any of us like. It's something that we all face. You know, we continue to work through plans, and hopefully we find some savings somewhere, and eventually this goes away. So.
Find a time machine, it can go back to the 90s and address council then. I have a few things I'd say.
That might be different.
It might be.
So, any other discussion, comments, questions? Roll call.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
yes.
Comfort,
No.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
And that passes. Final item on the regular agenda is to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 8.28 Stormwater Drainage Utility of the Oskaloosa Municipal Code, and this again is the first reading. So there's 2 more coming up. Staff, similar to the last agenda item, staff is recommending updates to Section 8.28 Stormwater Drainage Utility of the Oskaloosa Code to revise the rates for the stormwater utility and to clarify some language in the code. A summary of the proposed changes include Section 8.28050, the utility charge, combining rewording subsections D and E to clarify who the charges will be applied to. And then also 828.060B, the calculation of equivalent residential units and the amount of the charge. Replace the existing rate of $1 per ERU to $2. And then also in our budget session, we talked about gradually increasing that over the next few years to where it will be $5. Do I have a motion of support?
So moved. Second.
Okay, discussion. I think we can start with one thing that I always like doing is looking at what other communities are doing.
Yep.
I think that tells a huge story. You know, if you look at the attachment in the agenda, we are at again, we've been at $1. We're proposing going to $2, and the square feet per ERU is 2,750. There's a nice comparison there of, I'm just going to say, a dozen cities. Their charges range anywhere from ours at $2 to I think there's one at $9.47 in Clive and $6.25 in Waukee. If we talk Pleasant Hill, it's $4. Even Burlington, $2.90, and Boone is at $3. If we want to talk comparable sized communities. So you know, that gives me, again, I don't like it, but I know that the issues with our stormwater utility, and again, the only way we get those improvements, we've got to be able to help fund those somehow.
And I can get behind this, Bob. I mean, when you look at the comparisons, I mean, good Lord, they are, and that just, it does not make sense, I think, to have this particular rate so low. I think this goes beyond the issue itself. So,
So, and it's the same thing with the. This is what I'm getting ready to say. It's the same thing with the wastewater. We're raising the rates because to improve our system, utilities. So let's say we got here July 2026, it'd be $5, okay? After, let's say July of 2027, are we gonna review and see where the rates stand? Because we're increasing this to improve the stormwater system, pipes, whatever needs to be fixed. So once everything's done, then there should be something here, we go back and review, see where we're at, and adjust that rate, whatever it needs to be.
Correct.
That's the same thing with the wastewater, but it's not on there. And I mentioned that a few times in the past, but, so, should that be added on this, or as a reminder down the road where they come back and relook at these? I don't know how you would document that.
You're talking to review it to
Like say
potentially
in 2027, for example,
or
for example, July 1, 2027, review, see where the rate should be. Because right now we're raising these just because we need to improve the utilities. That's
and if we pass this as it's written, it would be 2027. It would just automatically be $5
right,
per ERU, right?
Right, but does it need to be at $5?
Right. You're saying in 2020, when we're looking at fiscal year 2027, fiscal year 2027,
right?
Are we going to reconsider it and say, can we move it to 3? Can we move it to 4?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Council can adopt a policy to review the adequacy of the rates.
Okay.
I think, again, setting the rates, I mean, like we're doing with the wastewater piece, I think, you know, it's reviewed annually.
Okay.
I think we're talking about setting this rate over the next few years based on our discussion at our budget session, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it was based on for improvements mostly.
Yes.
So the improvements are done. Okay. Let's now review. Can we drop it down $1 or whatever?
Yep. Yeah, I think what I'm all saying, that's ultimately a canceled decision, right? Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Caligiuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Chief Vaughn's been waiting for this moment. Last item on the agenda is Code Enforcement Quarterly Report. Well, we all
All
love to talk
good news.
about it,
All
Chief.
good news. Come on, Chief.
Yeah, we'll be
Give
here.
us some good news.
And we'll be here at 8 o'clock now.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So I'm giving you the last quarter of 2023. I apologize, we're actually one council meeting late in doing this. We've been down, or we're down a firefighter for 6 months, and then at the beginning of this quarter, we had another firefighter decide to cut his hand with a radial saw, and he was out for 3 months. Actually, a new firefighter, and he got returned to duty on the same week, so we're back up to full staff.
Good deal.
A lot of the time during this quarter, there was basically just myself and one other person on shift. I can guarantee you I worked more 24-hour shifts in the last 3 months than I did in the last 12 years.
Yeah.
When we have 2 people, we're not, the only thing we can go out in is that big red truck, and due to the prices of gas and stuff, we went to complaint driven only rather than being proactive, so that's why your numbers are lower for the quarter. It is usually, that's your slowest quarter of the year also, but so the numbers are obviously 31 that we had, with 30 of those being closed. One was a dilapidated property that we have been dealing with for a while, and I think in the near future we'll be talking to our city attorney as to what direction we go with that. So I want to give you a couple of the examples of the cleanups. The first one is 607 G Avenue East. We were called about this, and they didn't have trash service, and you can see where their trash was. We got a hold of the homeowner, gave them a time frame to get that done, and they decided not to do it, so we did that for them. That was one of our abatements that we did. The next one is 1006 North Market. Here toward the end of the fall, we kind of went after the main corridors of A Avenue and North Market. Chief Bakey was calling me sometimes, weekly with some properties, and we got quite a few of those taken care of. So this one just happened to be some mattresses that obviously did not look very good on North Market, so that was taken care of by the residents. 416 North A. I'm sorry, did I say something?
That's okay.
I got out of order there. So 416 North A was just a simple call that somebody was walking by and they said, hey, this camper is blocking the sidewalk, which obviously is against city code. Called the homeowner and they said, hey, totally apologize. We're just getting ready to store it for the winter. We're getting stuff in and out. It'll be gone 2 days if it was that weekend. So that has been taken care of. One other one that I want to show you is 713 3rd Avenue East. This has kind of been a house that's been on our radar for a while.
Oh, I know. It's on the corner, on the corner of Southern.
We've had quite a history with this one, but this was the last time that we made contact with them, and then the next picture you will see that they did take care of the issue, and guess we'll wait for the next one and see which direction we go from that. So appreciate work with the police chief, and then Sean in the building department has been able to, through this rental program, when they take their applications, now they're getting phone numbers. When they get phone numbers, sometimes it's much easier, not sometimes, but it's much easier to have a phone conversation. I called someone today, we mailed a letter out to Topeka, Kansas, on a property that had not been cleaned up. And then the snow hit, now everything's melted, it's still the same way, so we mailed the letter today. I was able to get the phone number for the property manager in town. I gave him a call, and he said, I will be over there right away. He goes, I didn't know anything about it, and I said, I just got your number today, so just a simple phone call a lot of times takes care of things, so.
That's great.
Up to full staff now, so Zach can, devote much more time to get out, and hopefully the weather is turned.
On a normal quarter, what is it like for complaints? I mean, is it obviously higher probably in the summer? People complain.
When you start, as soon as grass starts growing, that's going to be our highest quarter of like April, May, June. That's our highest one. So.
Do you do the notice for the snow removal not being shoveled on the sidewalks too? Or is it?
Complaints, complaints, So we did have some of those this year, and I think everything that everybody that we contacted took care of it. So we did not have to do any, which I know with his is, staff that they have in the streets, that was a good thing, so,
I was worried about that with as much snow as we got. I thought, oh.
As soon as I get my driveway shoveled, somebody comes down the street with a snow plow.
Matt, be sure to plow more full next time.
I'll make sure Joe's driveway is.
Yeah, there you go. I'm only kidding.
any other questions from council?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, with that, it's the end of the agenda. Any reports from city staff, city manager, city clerk,
No, thank you.
city attorney?
I view as city attorney my role as an advisory one, so generally I don't simply volunteer thoughts on things, but I would like to volunteer a couple of comments tonight. Number one, I'm sorry Steve's left because I wanted to, of course, echo what everyone else is saying, so hopefully he gets word of it. Steve has been a pleasure to work with. He's great. He's a great guy personally. He's been a great council member. We have all seen him a number of times say to somebody, and there's some controversial issue, I will stay here after this meeting as long as I need to visit with you, as long as we need, and he's willing to do so. So certainly we will miss him. It's been a pleasure to work with him, and is
Very much.
sorry to see him go. Second thing, a couple weeks ago, shortly before we got all the snow, I had bought a new hobby car, and I was foolish enough, wanting to get it out, that I drove it out when we still had snow around, and I got stuck 4 different times. But the point of the story is, each time strangers in this community stopped and came out and helped me and get me unstuck until I could finally get the thing back up my driveway. And it's, to me, a nice affirmation of faith in human nature, and I guess a good example of Oskaloosa nice. So I was tremendously impressed at everyone helping me in my foolish venture going out driving when I shouldn't have been.
All right, thank you. Council, Joe.
Don't have anything.
Charlie?
You run a great meeting, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you. We're almost done. Janet?
No, sir, thank you.
Rhonda?
No, thanks, bud.
All right. I think the only comment I would make, there's been a lot of comments and commentary, opinions expressed about traffic cameras and speed cameras and the like. And number one, I want to thank the chief and the city manager's office for publishing information related to that. I think there's some data there that is unfortunately true, shockingly so, about how people operate their vehicles in school zones, what that latest data showed. But along those lines, I also appreciate and trust that our city staff responds to requests for information as they are required by law. I don't think there's any intent to hide any information from the public. And I would also say that as a council member, I know maybe almost as much as the general public. Anything that was in any post that Chief shared, I think even starting 2 or 3 weeks ago with just data and the follow-up with the video published by the city of Oskaloosa on social media, what's in those videos and those social media posts is every last thing that I know about traffic cameras, speed cameras, and the like in the city of Oskaloosa. And that's what I know. We as council have not seen any proposals, have not had any meetings that I know of. So I just wanted to put that out there that whatever information people are hearing, you might, if you know something, something more than what's been published on social media, that's more than I know. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.